dive deep with these timeless quotes from history's greatest philosophers and psychiatrists, offering light for all of us in the uncertain times. Open your heart, listen closely, and let these words transform your perspective and ignite the fire within. Begin your odyssey to enlightenment now. Before we begin, please support us by subscribing to our channel. Thank you. The unexamined life is not worth living. I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Freedom is what you do with what has been done to you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Life is a sexually transmitted disease, and the mortality rate is 100%. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. The danger of the past was that men became slaves. The danger of the future is that men may become robots. Two things awe me most: the starry sky above me and the moral law within me. The wound is the place where the light enters you. I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Life must be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. Our greatest glory is not in never falling. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. To think is to confine yourself to a single thought that one day stands still like a star in the world's sky. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. The most thought-provoking thing in our thought-provoking time is that we are still not thinking. Man's main task in life is to give birth to himself, to become what he potentially is. The time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. War does not determine who is right, only who is left. The only defense against the world is a thorough knowledge of it. New opinions are always suspected, and usually opposed, without any other reason, but because they are not already common. Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers. Doubt is an uncomfortable condition, but certainty is a ridiculous one. The sad truth is that most evil is done by people who never make up their minds to be good or evil. Power and violence are opposites, where the one rules absolutely. Insanity, a perfectly rational adjustment to an insane world. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. The menu is not the meal. Genuine tragedies in the world are not conflicts between right and wrong. They are conflicts between two rights. The owl of Minerva spreads its wings only with the falling of the dusk. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. It is not so much our friends' help that helps us as the confidence of their help. We have 2 ears and 1 tongue so that we would listen more and talk less. The foundation of every state is the education of its youth. All things excellent are as difficult as they are rare. Peace is not an absence of war. It is a virtue, a state of mind, a disposition for benevolence, confidence, justice. The privilege of absurdity, to which no living creature is subject but man only. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. Where there is power, there is resistance. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Every man is the architect of his own fortune. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Life is what happens to you while you are busy making other plans. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Art is the lie that enables us to realize the truth. If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him. Freedom lies in being bold. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. To teach how to live without certainty, and yet without being paralyzed by hesitation, is perhaps the chief thing that philosophy, in our age, can do for those who study it. Time is a created thing. To say, "I don't have time," is like saying, "I don't want to." Everything that has a beginning has an ending. Make your peace with that, and all will be well. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. We are not given a good life or a bad life. We are given a life. It's up to us to make it good or bad. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. The greatest happiness of the greatest number is the foundation of morals and legislation. The world is full of magical things, patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper. The life of money-making is one undertaken by compulsion, and wealth is evidently not the good we are seeking, for it is merely useful and for the sake of something else. The only thing permanent in life is change. Before you go, we would really appreciate it if you can subscribe to our channel and like this video. Your valuable support will help us create more inspiring content for you. Thank you again for watching.